but
He literally runs like this. His body's straight up the whole time. It's like he runs like his shoes are too big for him. He runs like he just grew into his limbs. It's so weird. I hate it. It's very uncomfortable to look at. It's like looking at Jalen Brunson.
GMLB family, welcome back to another episode of Good Morning Let's Basketball. I am your host, Crash Out Mike, and on my right, that is Big Macedonia and GMLB's Chief of Security from the Island of Relevancy, Main Event Kev. Welcome back to the pod.
Appreciate it, man. Knowledge is stored in the brain, and I've got a headache.
Oh, man. Below me, that is the self-proclaimed podcast equilibrium and viral Dunkin' barista. That is Mr. Daniel. Welcome back to the pod.
How we doing, y'all? Settling in for a good one?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Finally, words from the CEO. To my right, that is the founder and the brains behind the whole operation. That is Mr. Victor. How we doing?
Doing good. On our bingo square, one of them might fill out soon. We'll see. And that one might be Ben Simmons, as there are talks of him retiring.
Oh my gosh, I can't talk. Excuse me. We'll be talking about another potential bingo spot that may already be in the works, and that one is actually Daniel's bingo spot. So Daniel might be early on the board for this one. But, GMLB family, we're going to go ahead and list off our topics for today's episode, starting off with, you guessed it, the Kawhi Leonard controversy. Yes, this has been talked about. We're not going to dive in deep. I'm sure a lot of you guys already understand the situation. We'll cover it from just a basic general standpoint, and we'll just drop some takes. We have a few different talking points to touch on, but we'll touch on the Kawhi Leonard situation. Of course, it is all hypothetical at the moment. So nothing has been fully decided yet. There's no investigation that's fully completed by the NBA. So as we await some kind of answer on that, we will just touch on it as a potential. After that, we have our new version of Contender versus Pretender, which is now called Legit or Trash, hosted by 4K Kev. And that's going to be a good. That's going to be a great topic there. We got a few different things that we're going to talk and discuss if they're legit or if they're trash. And then after that, I believe Victor will be back to his hosting genes for the top 10 most points scored since 2016. Feel free to play along as we try to guess that. Stick around if you're here for the whole pod. Maybe keep track of some guesses that you want to throw around. See if you can guess the list before us, because none of us prepped for it, as far as I know. If someone prepped and looked at the list, I did not. I don't think any of us did. But GMLB, let's jump into our first topic of discussion here. In April of 2022, Kawhi Leonard, through his newly created KL2 Aspire LLC company, allegedly signed a 4-year endorsement agreement with a company called Aspiration worth $28 million, or about $7 million per a 4-year deal, which is contingent on him exclusively playing for the Clippers, despite there being no evidence he ever performed any promotional work for the company. What does this mean? Well, when we look at Steve Ballmer's investments, Steve Ballmer has invested an amount that's extremely similar to the full amount that was being paid by Aspiration to Kawhi Leonard. Aspiration is now bankrupt and actually involved in illegal activity as the CEO. I believe it was the CEO. Correct me on that if I'm wrong, because I can get in a lot of trouble if this is wrong. But some big higher up at the company was actually docked for fraud. So the whole company went under. So we have Kawhi Leonard getting money for a company that went under, contingent on him playing for the Clippers, with an LLC called KL2 Aspire, when the company is called Aspiration, that he's getting paid through. And who's the investor? It's Steve Ballmer. Is Kawhi Leonard getting paid under the table, fellas? What is the verdict? Go ahead. Kevin, start us off.
I'd probably say yeah. Well, I mean, I don't think it's a surprise that like you've seen some like super teams get formed and some guys were getting paid under the table. Like you think D Wade took a pay cut in his prime, so LeBron and Bosh could join the team after he took that team to the finals himself just years prior. He was getting some dollars under the table. This happens. It's no secret. But looking into the situation a little bit myself, Steve Ballmer kind of came out and was like defending it. He was like, "No, it's nothing weird. Like players are endorsed by like team sponsors all of the time." But bottom line is Kawhi has never like sponsored or like made like or promoted the company in any way, shape, or form. So to me, that does make it a little bit shaky. I did see something else that there might have been like a additional $50 million that no one knows, I guess, how the company acquired or really where it came from. So I think just the more time goes on, the uglier the situation is kind of getting. Now, I don't want to jump straight into the main thing I wanted to say, but we could see the entire landscape of the NBA get switched up. I'm going to let you guys give your takes first before I share exactly what that is. But it'd be quite interesting, and I'd be damned if it happened.
I don't necessarily believe it. I think that, and it might just be my bias. I like Steve. He seems like a good guy. He had that whole push about wanting to make basketball more fun and closer to that like college atmosphere, and we talked about that in length. But it's sad to see, but I guess it also makes sense, right? He just invested billions of dollars to make basically the most advanced stadium that the NBA has to offer. So you would imagine that it was going to be a little bit hard for him to do that and have a good team around him. What I did see that he said is that he's got he basically just got betrayed. And I'm sure that you guys kind of had seen the same thing, but his position is that he had no idea what was going on and that he felt like his team betrayed him. He said it happens in every industry of business. You hire people and you expect them to do a good job, but sometimes they turn out to be doing things behind your back that you didn't know about. But with that being said, I still don't I guess I don't actually believe it, that he didn't know anything about it. You know what I mean? He definitely had to have been sent some kind of information or some kind of email that let him know that they were doing this. And I really do wonder if Kawhi was aware of it too.
Billionaires doing fraudulent behavior. What's new? Now they're ruining the NBA. They've ruined real estate. They've ruined the sneaker culture. Now they're ruining the game I love. It's just sad. The only promotion thing I did see from that company, someone shared it on TikTok. It was one of those posts. It was like every like or comment this post gets will plant a tree, and Kawhi Leonard was used as the picture. Stupid. I've never seen Kawhi plant a tree. Fraud.
Yeah, it was like 5 liked posts, 5 retweets. It's 5 or more likes on a post, 5 or more retweets, and 50 or more signatures was the like bare minimum he could do for that $28 million, and he still didn't do any of it, which I just think is like he could have actually made a case for like maybe he did it, but no, he didn't do any of it. And go ahead, Vic. I know you haven't gotten your take off yet.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think there's a little bit of truth to it because it's just there's just no way out of the blue that Pablo Torre, the guy who uncovered all of this information, just came out and made this up. There has to be at least a little bit of truth to it. With Steve Ballmer like denying it and everything and all that stuff that came out, I just don't know if I could fully see that there was actually no like he didn't know or anything, or Kawhi didn't know that that they were doing this under the table money. I'm sure there's other teams that are doing this, or they could not be doing it too, because I mean the NBA gets a lot of money. I mean, especially with these new contracts. But if it is true that the Clippers ended up doing this and all the investigation after the NBA does it is true, we're going to see some real consequences towards the Clippers, because this is the first team that it's happened to, and you can't especially with like all the bad news and all the drama every NBA season, and this would make the league look so bad. So Adam Silver is going to punish the Clippers if this is true.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was waffling about earlier, and I'm definitely going to get to it right now. But first off, completely off topic, Vic, the way you're sitting right now, the gnome is sitting perfectly on your shoulder, and it's killing me. I love it. It's hilarious.
It's always whispering in his ear, man, during the pod.
I had to say it. But like I said, what I was saying earlier, if all this is deemed true and Steve Ballmer was trying to pull some shenanigans, that 2019 trade that involved Shea, Paul George, and everything else that was done in that deal could get vetoed even 6 years, maybe even 7 years later. Meaning, it's a good possibility that if this is all deemed true, Shea is going to return to the Clippers, Paul George is going back to the Thunder, Kawhi Leonard would get his contract voided and be forced into free agency, and the Clippers could face several penalties, like Victor said, massive fines, and even a loss of future picks. Could you imagine Oklahoma City Thunder are going to be this sick team for the next 10 years? It's like, actually, guys, you're getting Paul George back. Wow.
Wait, so when did Shea actually get traded there?
That was 2019?
I think it was,
trade
yeah,
was
like
completed.
Well, this is contingent on the contract extension, not when Kawhi initially signed there. So this was signed in 2021. This 4-year extension, that's what this is up in air about. The 2019, now, unless they find something else that was going on illegally, that could be something. But as far as I know, this is the 2021 and over extension, not his initial signing from Toronto.
That scenario I probably should have added if they were able to find a case of tampering within the Clippers organization with that deal being kind of done behind closed doors earlier, as well as...
Which is very possible.
Yeah.
It's very possible.
That whole scenario I just said, it's all speculation, but like I said, deal was signed in 2021, but like who knows how long it was going on before that. It could have been right around that time, which I feel like why people kind of made that connection right there. But like, let's imagine that happened for a second. The Clippers would get their star. They would restart. I mean, they're an old team, so it's like, oh, sick. We have the MVP of the league now. That's awesome.
But how is that fair though? How is that a good like punishment? I feel like going from
I feel like it's a pretty damn good punishment.
Yeah, I mean, like,
Getting Shea?
I see how I know that you said that it's just like a scenario, but I think it's very like I don't think fans have to worry about that at all because it would cost too much money to multiple franchises. Everyone would be upset with it. There's not one person, a fan of the NBA, that would be like, oh yeah, this makes sense. Like punish Paul George, punish OKC fans, punish Shea, punish all these guys because of what a handful of people did. And if anything, I think it'll just be, which is kind of scary, but like a permanent ban on everyone involved from this. And I think that could be really interesting to see like a superstar like Kawhi Leonard potentially get banned from the NBA completely.
Yeah. Well, there's a simple fix to that. Don't be a fraud. And it's kind of like a good lesson. One person can ruin it for a lot of people. That's true in every scenario of life. So yeah, it would suck to see Shea and Kawhi and Paul George and whoever involved in this get punished for it. But one person's actions, especially someone at the level of Steve Ballmer, billionaire, could definitely ruin it for a lot of people. Now, I would argue that a lot of fans, like Chicago Bulls fans or anyone else other than these three teams, probably wouldn't care a whole lot. I think it would be more funny than anything. It'd be hilarious. I necessarily wouldn't be mad about it, but I kind of want to see it happen. I think that's history. That'll never happen again. That's never happened. I love history.
Like Victor said, there hasn't been anything quite like this. The closest thing we have was Joe Swift in the 2000 season. Joe Smith. Is that his name? Joe Smith? You guys know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Joe Smith, right? That's his name?
Yeah.
So you might have to describe the story first.
Yeah, okay, anyway. So basically, player for the Timberwolves in 2000, this is Kevin McHale, involved like that era of Timberwolves. You know, Kevin Garnett's obviously there. There was a rule back in the 2000s where if you sign a player, I believe it's 3 times, you basically get their bird rights, which means you can sign them for long-term money and exceed your cap, right? So by having him, the Timberwolves made an under-the-table deal with him and had him sign 3 one-year, like extremely low salary deals, well below what he was worth as a player, so that they could sign him long-term in that 4th year for an extension that exceeds their salary cap, basically, because they needed a roster around him essentially. So they're like, okay, if you stay here 3 years, then we'll sign you with the full roster because we can now exceed our cap. And what happened then is David Stern, you know, being the crackdown specialist, especially compared to Adam Silver. David Stern, that's where we saw the Timberwolves lose their 5 first-round picks, which eventually was only 3 because I think they got 2 of them back. But that's where, like, the whole notion of take away 5 first-round picks comes from, because that's the closest thing we've ever seen. But in my opinion, it warrants a lot more than 5, or at least something other with the 5.
I'll be honest, I wasn't even aware of that situation. I had no idea that happened, but that's good to know. I thought you were going to swing into the Donaghy ref scandal, because that was pretty dang big too. That's a whole nother story. I think we covered it in one of our first episodes way back in the trifling days of the podcast. But that'd probably be the biggest thing since that happened, as far as like an NBA scandal. And like you said, Adam Silver not being the crackdown specialist, he's just trying to figure out All-Star Weekend, man. That's all he's worried about. That's the only thing that matters to that freaking. Never mind. I'm not going to say it.
I did see that article that you were mentioning, Miles, and I just skimmed it. The only thing that I got from it was, like you said, that the Timberwolves are the only team that was close to this in terms of punishments and scenarios and stuff like that. But one thing I wanted to ask is, like, we saw the whole gambling situation that happened recently with was Mikal, right?
Malik Beasley.
Malik. And you know, we've also seen in the last few years them be a little bit more harsh on this whole like salary cap and who's allowed to have money getting thrown around and things like that. So I guess my question, and it kind of sounds like you guys already answered it, but do you think that this is like a trend? Like we might see in the next coming years the investigations pile up and more of these things start to come to light? And on that same topic, do we feel like Adam Silver is doing more for like corruption behind the scenes than David Stern was?
I feel like we could probably see a lot more things come to light. I feel like that's usually what happens once one issue gets figured out. It's like, wait, actually, there was this situation. A good example is like, NBA players like betting on themselves. We saw it with Terry Rozier. Then it led to Jonte Porter, who's now banned from playing basketball. Now they found out, oh, Malik Beasley might be viable for this. Every year there's going to be someone new that's going to get caught for it. I feel like that's the thing now. With how big gambling is and how easy it is to gamble, like, we could definitely see it. With this kind of being figured out from the Clippers, we might see Adam Silver be like, all right, I'm going to need the books from every single NBA team right now.
Because everyone's getting audited for sure, I think.
This is getting silly.
Now, hear me out, fellas. If I were Jalen Brunson, you know, we already had those tampering allegations when he got signed. You know, daddy's the assistant coach or whatever. And you take that pay cut, you take that giant pay cut to build this Knicks team. All I'm saying is I would be sweating. Not saying he did anything, but I would definitely be sweating a little bit, because that's probably the next thing people will point to as like, hey, let's take a look at that. Let's see what's going on there.
Yeah.
In the biggest market in the entire United States. Let's see what's happening with those guys under the table.
Yeah. That pretty much connects to what I said earlier. Like, you think D Wade wasn't getting paid under the table during those Miami Heat days? You're crazy. So is Brunson. But I don't know, like I said, he pitched it as like, oh, I already make so much money. I want to bring my friends here. This is such a great Shut up. You're getting paid. You live in New York, man. You need that money.
Yeah, bro's gonna return to that 2,000 a month apartment. It's the Harry Potter under the stairs. That's all the Knicks fans. Oh man.
This also
all right.
could have.
So, go ahead. Go
I
ahead.
was just say this also could have been a strategy by Steve Ballmer to have Kawhi suspended maybe 50, 60 games and then have him fresh for the playoffs.
That's funny.
He might not be
Speaking
playing
of-
in any playoffs anytime soon anymore.
I mean, he didn't anyway. So, there's the bow on top. Does this ruin Kawhi's legacy? Are we gonna know Kawhi if this is true? Obviously, we're still dealing in potentials here. If this is true, are we gonna remember Kawhi for that Raptors run and that young gun on the Spurs before he gave up on the team? Or is this kind of the final straw on like, hey, I don't think Kawhi's actually a guy we should like as much. If this is true, and sitting out for the Spurs while being healthy, leaving Toronto after the city literally offered him free meals for life. I mean, the list just goes on with the guy. What do you guys think? Oh, not playing in the playoffs,
I would say,
sitting games, like piloting load management. Sorry, go ahead.
I'd probably say no, just because a majority, all of his success. I'm not even gonna say a majority. All of his success came about all before this whole fraudulent mess happened. Yeah, we're gonna remember it, but remember 2019 on the Raptors? He was pretty freaking nice. The conversation's always gonna end there. And 2 Finals MVPs, 2 different teams, 2-time NBA champion, Depoy, all that great stuff came beforehand. It'll leave a little sour taste in the mouth, kind of like John Jones bouncing right when he was about to fight Tom Aspinall. Some might get it, some won't. But it'll leave a sour taste. But I won't discredit everything he completed beforehand. All that.
What about the Hall of Fame? Does he not get in because of this?
Ooh.
I mean, it could have been one of those situations where maybe he didn't know, which sounds stupid because it's you signed the deal, but you don't know what those investors told him. This guy, he's a basketball player. I'm not saying he's stupid, but he sees a lot of money on the table. Oh, new endorsement. I only have to do 2 retweets to get $20 million. Hell yeah, I don't even have to post. I think that's when he created a Twitter account actually, because he was never.
He didn't do it, by the way.
Yeah, because Kawhi Leonard was not always on social media, and then one day he hopped on randomly. At the time he was on the Clippers.
The same day he created that LLC.
I don't know if it was
named
that.
KL2 Aspire.
I don't know. I think it was
But that's
around
fair
that time.
game.
'Cause he was never on social media like that. That was a big Brian Windhorst moment where he was on TV and he goes, "Now what does this tell you?" He thought he was cracking down on something. You guys know what I'm talking about, right?
Nope. But I'll look it up.
All right.
I definitely think this hurts his legacy a little bit, just because if you're the first team and the first player to get caught in some type of scandal like this, it's going to make the league look bad as a whole. The league's not going to want to recognize you. I guarantee you when the NBA Top 100 list comes out, he won't be on it. This is going to leave a sour taste in everybody's mouth for a while, and I don't see how this could be any good for him if it's true.
I mean,
Yeah, it's the sour tasting for sure. What I'm more concerned about is how if this comes out to be true, how other players are going to view Kawhi Leonard. Because to me, well, first of all, I think the top 100 is it fan voted or player voted?
I think it's
Depends
voted.
what list.
Okay, but my
It's
point
not
is
out
that
yet.
there
I'm
is
just
going
saying.
to be a bunch of lists that rely on other players in the NBA. And what I'm getting at is if you look at, for example, James Harden, who shared the court with Kawhi, I think he looks at this situation and says, wait a minute, why were you taking, an extra, why were you getting an extra this amount of money when I was doing all this for the Clippers last year?
He might be in that too, though.
And that's the other thing that it goes into, right? Is this could be even bigger than we think. I mean, if Steve Ballmer is paying Kawhi Leonard, what are they paying Luka? What happened with the Luka situation. You know what I mean? Like, I think this blows a lot of things up. But as for Kawhi's legacy, I think, for me at least, personally, I don't. Oh, that's hard actually. I was gonna say personally, I like Kawhi. I like his backstory, his journey to where he is now. I like all of that. But this does, I guess, you do start to wonder like why were you taking money? You know what I mean, under the table. Although I do want to say the whole him starting a social media company, to me that like actually kind of is in his defense, because if Kawhi Leonard was off of social media and then he joined it, well, that's someone that brings a lot of eyes to your product or whatever you're gonna sell or whatever. So like him
He
joining
never
social
posted
media,
anything though.
that's the other thing. So I guess that, but I don't know. It doesn't change anything for me in terms of his legacy. I still admire what he did, and as a player, he's still one of the best. It's for me, it's just kind of sad how I think everyone else is gonna look at this situation and be like, that's a bad guy.
Yeah, I mean, not to get controversial here, but worse things have happened. Karl Malone got a 13-year-old pregnant, and you'll still hear a dude from the 90s say, legend. People couldn't hang with him. Dude just got extra money. It could be worse.
It might fade out like those Zion allegations from earlier this summer. It could just like fade out and no one talks about it anymore.
It probably will.
Yeah.
Did we ever get an update on that, by the way?
I don't remember.
Not to like talk about that, but
I'm gonna be honest.
Was
I
that
can't
true?
Remember. I can't remember what they were.
Honestly, there was like 3 different BBL bandits that came out and called out Zion Williamson. I lost track on which one we're talking about here. So I think people just got sick of it, and maybe they're just handling it under the table. But in all honesty, this whole situation right here is probably just going to get swept under the rug in like 2 weeks. I give it to the end of the week. Football's going to come on Sunday, and people are going to be like, yeah, we don't care about the NBA. It's not around right now.
I will say, before we transition and get our final thoughts out, we do have a bingo card slot via Daniel that says the Clippers will completely miss the playoffs. And we've already set the precedent that doesn't mean making the play-in and losing. That means literally 11 or below. So, if this is true, this could actually give us a bingo slot on our bingo card this year. Not saying I'm hoping for that, but I kind of am hoping for that. A little bit.
Wait, did this count for like if they make plan but lose the plan?
So
Are you sure?
3 episodes ago, we went over it. It was brought up, and the precedent was set because Kevin was like, "All right, when you say Clippers miss playoffs, do you mean literally 11 and below, or do you mean like they can make the play-in and lose twice?" And Daniel said, "No, 11 and below." So the
I
precedent
said
has been set.
Completely missed the
Yes.
playoffs. So
Okay.
stand on that.
Yeah.
Yes,
Meant what he said?
That is business that has been stood on previously. So, any final thoughts on this, fellas? Anything about the legacy, the Hall of Fame? I do think it keeps him out of the Hall of Fame if this is true. By the way,
Oh,
I don't think they
100%.
let him in with that.
Yeah, you're probably right.
All I want to say is, I think if anyone is going to be like the scapegoat or who to blame, it'll be Kawhi's like agent, and only him. Steve Ballmer will probably have like plausible deniability. He'll be able to say like, "Oh, I actually wasn't involved in these talks," even though maybe he was. And Kawhi will do the Shohei Ohtani and be like, "I didn't know that my bookie was placing almost $150 million in bets." Like, oh, okay.
It's just crazy. Crazy how you could bet $150 million.
You ever seen that video with Shannon Sharp where he's talking with Dana White about how they used to bet $1 billion at casinos in secret in
It's like-
Las Vegas?
Just keep the money.
Yeah.
Like, just keep the money. You have a bill.
More.
Anyway, I'm not going to get into it. It's like, what do you even do with that amount? I don't know.
You double it.
I don't have that money.
Give it to the next person.
How do you explain that you lost $1 billion in like 12 hours
Easy.
or less?
Easy. I put it on black.
Yeah, I guess so. The dealer gave me a 16 and it didn't hit.
All right, Kevin, take it over, my brother. It's time for legit or trash.
Let's do it. GMLB Squadron. Like Miles said, we got a new segment coming in. Pretty much just going to discuss specific team season, player season, other miscellaneous events, whether they're legit or trash. Spin-off of overrated, underrated, but a little bit more fun. So the first one we're going to talk about, or that you guys are going to talk about rather, the 2021 Phoenix Suns finals run. Legit or trash? Who's kicking it off?
I'll take a step back. One of y'all could take this one.
I'm going to go with legit. I mean, I think around that time was when I made the claim that Chris Paul was incredibly important to that team and that losing him was going to affect them severely. And I remember that we kind of had a debate because you guys were like, Devin Booker is actually the most important player on that team. And I understood. But I will say after that run, they weren't really the same, in my opinion. And I will say that run in particular, I think they beat the Lakers, who were the defending champs. So, I mean, that's something there. But there was also, I think, a lot of injuries that season. And I don't want to say they had an easy path to get to where they did, but it was easier. But I would still call it legit. It's not exactly anything crazy that they did. Yeah, I think it's legit.
I'm going to call it legit, too. I know it was like a weird season. The season was a little bit shorter. But I do agree. I think they played some tough teams getting there. And then they played the Bucks. And they went up 2-0 against them. And if Giannis didn't average 35, 13, and 5 in the NBA Finals, I think they could have won. I mean, he put up 50 points, 14 rebounds, and 2 assists in Game 7 to close it out.
Game 6.
Or Game 6, my bad. Game 6. Dude, I mean, that was a good run by the Phoenix Suns. It sucks that they didn't go all the way, but, I mean, after that, it would have been nice to see them, like, the following year if they could have got back to that level. But I just think the regular season we saw it start to get back to where it was with 82 games and everything, and then just some other issues as well.
All right, Mike, shake up the room. I know why you wanted to go last. Because usually when you do, it's because you want to shake up the room. So go ahead.
Yeah, this is trash. I'm not going to lie, this is trash. They beat the Lakers, and in case you guys forgot, that's the series where Andre Drummond was posting up with LeBron when he was posting up Jay Crowder or whatever, and he was on the sideline with him. Like, dude, that whole Lakers team was a clown show that season. Such a clown show. I believe, now correct me if I'm wrong, fellas, because I actually didn't research this, but wasn't that the first time LeBron lost in was it the first round, or it was some kind of LeBron playoff stat? It was the first time he's ever done that or something like that. Correct me on that if I'm wrong. If you know what I'm talking about, chime in. But that was also the series where Jay Crowder salsa danced on the Lakers. It was I think it was a done deal with that. I don't think that series was really tough for them. Now, it depends on how you rank trash and legit, because if a team is really good, didn't Phoenix finish first this year? Kev, did they finish first, right?
They finished second. They're a 1 win behind the Jazz.
The Jazz. That was the Jazz year. Okay, so they're clearly a top 3 team in the league, right? If that team goes to the finals, does that hurt their run because they're supposed to do it, or does that make it better because of how dominant it is? What's your guys' opinion on that? Either way, I'm still going trash, and I'll explain more. But like, what is your guys' opinion? If a team is really good, are they supposed to go to the finals, and that diminishes their run, or is it a testament to how dominant they are?
I think what I remember from this is I was sort of like the whole thing that they were spinning is like, oh, this is the first time that Chris Paul has been in the finals for who knows how long, and it was also like Devin Booker and him like they just pair so well. They have all the pieces, so I would say that it was expected for them to make it far. But I'm trying to think. There was other good teams around that time that were definitely making people nervous. I don't know. It's hard because when I compare them to like, modern era first seeds right now that we have, those teams are supposed to be in the conversation every year. Celtics and OKC and Nuggets, those are the teams, right? But the Suns at that point were in this weird like stratosphere where for the first time we were getting diversity in terms of who our champions were. Because after I think the Raptors won in 2019, it was a different team every year until now. So I think at that point, the Suns weren't necessarily supposed to be there, and that's what made it even cooler that they were. That would be my take on it.
I would say they lived up to the expectation. Yes, they were a top 3 team in the league. They made the finals. They kind of did what they were supposed to do. I don't think since they lost that we should like take that away from them in their scenario. Like they did what they were supposed to do. Unfortunately, somehow Chris Middleton put up 40 in a game. Giannis did all that he did. And they actually went up 2-0 in that series at one point, but they just ran into an unfortunate situation.
Yeah, I'll say what's really funny to me is, do you guys remember when Chris Paul put up 41 points? I believe his career high is 43, and this is a 41-point game against the Clippers in the Western Conference Finals. I don't know if you guys remember that or not, but that was incredible. But back to why this run is kind of trash. I mean, they sweep the Nuggets in 4, and this is like, I believe, is this pre-Aaron Gordon? Hold on, I'm checking the roster right here. I can't remember. Yeah, this is pre-Aaron Gordon. Or no, this is his first year. But this is also like Austin Rivers, Furkan Campazzo Nuggets who got swept here. So it's like it's the Nuggets before they were the formidable opponent that they became. And then like you play the Clippers in the conference finals without Kawhi Leonard. Of course, dealing with injury. So it's like, I think it's good. Like it's not. I wish we had a middle tier because it's not trash, but it's just not special. I think it's the most overrated run out of any 2 teams, East and West, of this decade. Can't think of a worse one.
My thing is every team getting to the finals, there has to be a little bit of luck involved for it to go right. And, that's going to be the case sometimes. Like you said, with Kawhi being injured, that was a little bit of luck there. It's just, it's timing, it's luck, it's skill. And, all that went into their favor until they got to the finals.
I would say
I don't think it's luck when it's Kawhi who's missed every playoff run.
I think
I
think that one's different.
So, I mean, who knows what would have happened if he was healthy?
if the Suns got like swept or gentlemen swept and were not involved in any single game in the finals against the Bucks, I would call it trash. But they did go up 2-0. They did lose 4 straight, which doesn't look good, but they were in all of those games. Giannis 50-piece, Middleton 40-piece, Giannis having like arguably the greatest block we've ever seen in an NBA Finals game. Crazy block, by the way. It's like my favorite play ever.
Hold up. craziest block in an NBA Finals game.
I said arguably one.
Blocked by James. It's
That's
like
what-
the edit.
It was
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I said it was arguably one of the greatest. Blocking that lob where he came from, that was pretty damn impressive, I would say. But like I said, they were involved in every single game. It's not like they were the Mavericks when they got to the finals and they got blown out every single game -1. I think that run was a little bit more overrated than Phoenix Suns. I don't want to get into that conversation a little bit too much since we got two others to discuss, but closing statements from the 2021 Phoenix Bums.
Phoenix Buns.
The only thing that slightly swayed my vote a little bit was when Miles called this run special, and he said it's not special. I can agree that it's not as special as others, but I think it's still legit in terms of their franchise.
Perfectly rated.
knowing what happened to them last year against the Mavericks, I'm subtracting at least 10 points from this.
Do I? Well, we're going to hop into the second one here. Kicking it back almost a decade here. 2014, 2015, Atlanta Hawks having 4 All-Stars on their team. Legit or trash?
I'll take a step back again. Go ahead.
And I'm gonna go with trash just because how bad the Eastern Conference was back in the day, and they just had to give them 4. You know what I mean? Looking at the All Stars, I think it was LeBron James, Carmelo, John Wall, Paul Gasol, Kyle Lowry, Kyrie Irving, Kyle Korver, Paul Millsap, Al Horford, Jeff Teague, Chris Bosh, and Jimmy Butler in the East.
Those are good players. What
They
do you
are.
mean it's weak?
They are. I'm saying like the Eastern. Oh my gosh, the Eastern Conference. I remember back in 2015, everybody was calling the East weak. Everybody was saying LeBron had an easy like finals run every year. So that's what I remember. He would always knock the Raptors out every year. That was expected. But yeah, I'm gonna go trash.
I don't know. I think I'm gonna go trash as well. The 4 All-Stars here that it has listed that were on the team were Jeff Teague, Al Horford, Paul Millsap, and Kyle Korver. And it sounds like the worst version of what the Mavericks are now, which is like a bunch of not role players, but like secondary guys. I've made my points on this before. It just that lineup doesn't really scream anything special to me, and they also didn't win anything, so I guess I would say trash.
Yeah, didn't they have 60 wins this season? How many wins did they have?
They were 60 and 22.
Yeah.
Okay. Does anybody know what they were at the All-Star break? What was their record at the All-Star break? That's what we need to hammer in here.
So I don't know exactly what it was, but I can kindly assume that they were probably at the top because sending 4 All-Stars, like your team's probably going to be that good. And this is probably a bad comparison, but Miles, when I was talking to you about this, I was like, oh, wow, J-Dub is an All-Star. Like, it's kind of crazy. Like, he made it over some people. Solid, but I wasn't expecting that. And you said, well, yeah, they're the best team in the league. I feel like the best team usually sends 2 guys from their team to the All-Star game.
Yeah.
Two guys usually make it. Now, 10 years ago, they doubled it and sent 4. So a little bit of a difference. But I don't know. I feel like it could have been a situation like that.
It says here they were 43-11 before the All-Star break.
Interesting. What's like? I know the best is like what 48-4. I think for the Warriors during their like best season. I wonder if that was like the most at the time. I can't fact check that, which actually makes me really upset, truthfully, because I want to fact check that. But it had to be like some kind of record, right? It had to be some kind of record. So my thing is it legit or trash? I think.
You were right.
Really?
48-4.
Oh, okay. truthfully, that was the only part I could look up in the time. It was the other parts I couldn't prove. I could prove that part. Millsap and Horford deserve to be all-stars. No matter how you slice the cake, those were the two that deserved to go. Jeff Teague was averaging like 16 points that season, and I'm not saying points are everything. If anyone wants to pull up Jeff Teague's stats for me, please enlighten me. But what I'm seeing here is 16 points, 7 assists, and 3 rebounds. So, like, pretty solid. I could see a reserve being an all-star, especially in this era where we're not, like, scoring 130 points a game. So Jeff Teague, I'm on the fence with. I do agree with Vic that the East, that's definitely a testament to how weak the East is. Korver, on the other hand, this is where a lot of people get this wrong. Korver was not voted an all-star. He was a replacement for Dwayne Wade. So technically, it's like 3 Hawks all-stars, and then Korver was a replacement. But I still don't... Korver, I think, what was he shooting from 3? Dang, bro, I need to reference these stats.
I literally had it pulled up.
Because this was back when, this guy, it was him and Curry were the only 2, high-volume three-point shooters in the league, right?
He was shooting 49%.
49? Yeah, that's why. I forgot about that. He was shooting 50% from 3. That's why he got it. So, is it legit or trash? I'm so on the fence with this one. I feel like, and I'm not trying to go against the panel here, but I feel like it's kind of legit. Because Horford and Millsap definitely deserve to be all-stars. Teague, you could easily make the case for him in the weak East, 16-7, on the best team in the East. And Korver being the reserve, but shooting 50% from 3, probably on at least the second most attempts in the league, second or third, behind Curry and Clay. And they were popping off at that time. I'm going legit. I'm done rambling. Legit.
I'm going to close it out with legit, but a little stinky, a little musty.
Yeah.
Can I answer your question from earlier, Miles? You asked if they were, if 48, what was it? Is it
48 and 11?
If 48
or 44 and 11? I forgot already. 48 and 4 was the Warriors. Do the math, whatever that is.
What I was getting at was that they are not on the top 5 list of best records before the All-Star break. Those belong to number 2, the Phoenix Suns, with 48 wins and an unspecified amount of losses because of the COVID restrictions. Third place was 1966 to 1967, the Philadelphia 76ers 39-4, and fourth place was 95-96 Chicago Bulls 42-5 before the All-Star break.
So that was 3.
3, the list so the list only went to 4, but they're not in the top 5 and they're not below that, and they're 48 and 11. So
okay, yeah, so good, but nothing
that's right. That's what I was that's why I wanted to bring it up. But
I don't know. My thing is when you're a higher seed or when you're the first seed, the NBA likes to give multiple all-stars for the first seed. So that's why my thing is okay, the Hawks were the number 1 seed, 60-22. Let's just give multiple all-stars. But they did play good. The players did play good. Don't get me wrong. They had killer seasons.
Yeah.
I remember that Hawks team being nice too.
Yeah, I think, now hear me out, this might have something to do with it. So what was their record at the All-Star break again? Did anybody actually write that down?
I believe it was 41-11.
So 41-11. The season before, they had 44 wins. So they almost had their entire last season's amount of wins at All-Star break. That might have something to do with it. The sheer improvement of the team, I would assume.
Like the Pistons?
Probably. I don't know. That's a good point. That is a good point. I mean, they weren't top of the East, though.
That's
we can
a better point.
We can move on.
Yeah. Bottom line, that team was nice. Unfortunately, it didn't last too long. But to close out the first segment of Legit or Trash, Daniel called it a little bit early. The future of the Detroit Pistons. We saw the Lions go down last week. Are they going to do the same? Future of the Pistons. Legit or trash? It might be a little bit more trash than you think.
The future, I've always been the guy with the Pistons that was never actually sold on them. I rooted for them, no doubt. But I'm like, how is this roster this good? I don't understand how you can have Tobias Harris in your starting lineup. And, like, everyone just tells me how good Jalen Duren is, but I just don't really see it like that. Like, he's a good player, but, like, is he that great? Like, I don't get that. And I've obviously never been sold on Stewart as, like, the backup, and he might not be the backup for much longer. You don't know, but man, I'm gonna need a second to think about this.
These are your boys.
My boys. What you mean?
Yeah, I feel like you always hype up the Pistons.
I think he
I
likes
do
Cade.
hype up. I do like Cade. I do hype. Like, I root for the Pistons. I want them to be good. But this is the future. And, like, Ivy's a good piece. Obviously, Cade, great piece, all NBA piece. Asar is, like, good for them, but, like, what is his ceiling? We don't really know what his ceiling is because it's like, where's the shooting? He has flashes of an offensive game. I don't know. What do you guys think? I honestly don't know. I have no idea.
Go.
Like, what's the future? Like 3 years? Like in 3 years, let's set that as the precedent. 3 years, where are the Pistons?
I mean, I'll say 3 years. I'll say 7. I actually really like the Pistons right now. I'm kind of high on them a little bit. And it really falls under a couple of things. Number one, this is a team that a couple of years ago, again, I'm going to keep on harping on it because I think culture and goals matter. This was a team that had to dig themselves out of being the worst sports team, I think, ever, is what
Jimmy High Roller.
Jimmy High
Roller said. Thank you, Victor. I'm glad you knew exactly where I was going with that. And now I lost my train of thought.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
They did get Duncan Robinson, if that helps.
Where I was
Yeah.
going with what I was going to say is that, like I said, culture matters. I really like Cade Cunningham. I think I know you guys have seen the video of Shaq basically talking about his relationship with the number 2 pick of the draft year. And he kind of just says, like, every time we play them, it's bigger than just winning the game, right? Like, it's a one-on-one matchup in a way sometimes. And Cade takes it personally in a way. What I like is, and I'm going to compare it to another video that people have also seen, which is the one of Jeff Teague talking about, I think, like, his first time playing Russell Westbrook. And, like, I think Russell Westbrook, like, went up and grabbed, like, a really aggressive rebound over him or something. And Teague went, like, oh, like, you got it, man. And Russell Westbrook turned around and was like, that's the problem. And I think I'm butchering the story. I think
No,
guys would... That was pretty.
That sounds about right, yeah.
Okay, yeah. But Teague talks about how he's like, that's when I knew that there's like different people in different atmosphere or like different mindsets and stuff, and in a competitive nature. And I guess Russ is a bad example because, But I think in comparison, I see a lot of the same things from like that Pistons squad. Asar Thompson is one of those guys that is going to, in my opinion, stay with the Pistons and become kind of one of their anchor points, along with Cade. And I think that over the next few years, those two are going to develop something special, along with whoever else they are able to retain. I'm ready to see the return of the bad boy Pistons, led by Cade. I think this one's legit.
I will say real quick before you go, Victor, in terms of Jeff Teague's difference in competitiveness, Jeff Teague grew up where we grew up. So imagine like Daniel going up for a rebound on Russell Westbrook. That's what that is. You could tell we're great competitors over here at GMLB. But go ahead, Vic. Sorry.
I'm like very indifferent on this one because I really liked the Pistons last year, but this offseason and like some of the pieces that they have from the previous roster, I just don't know how I feel about it. I think what Kevin said last, legit, but a little bit stinky, is like this one. Just because they lost a lot of some of their key shooters. So with that being Tim Hardaway Jr., they lost Malik Beasley, but he might sign back. We don't know yet, and that case is still going on. Did get Duncan Robinson. I do really like Cade. I think he's going to be a great player in this league. Asar I really like, and then what's his face? Why am I drawing a blank right now?
Duran, Ivy.
Duran.
Duran and Ivy, yes, I really like both those two as well. So I'm excited to see what they do with that core and how they can build around it and just get some better, like, surround them with like shooters again and see where that takes them, because I felt like that's what Cade needed last year, and that's what got them that playoff success. They were right there with the Knicks. They could have beat them if some of the games went their way. It was just a couple possessions that unfortunately cost them the game.
Okay. So I got two things here. When we say the Pistons' future, I assume we're talking about the core, right? So that would be Asar, Duran, Ivy, Cade, Holland. Yeah, Holland's not like core, but like young piece who will be there for a while. Am I sold on that future? Yes. I think that future, like there's a lot of potential with those guys. Ivy's the one I'm a little iffy on because I'm like, does he fit as like a pure scorer? Like defensively, yes, he fits. Obviously, like that's the culture, and I think all those guys are great defenders. So, yeah, I think they'll make it work. You know, Cade averaged 9 assists last season. I think that'll work, but my thing is they need a star. I do think they need a star. Like you put Kevin Durant on that team right now, they'll probably win the championship. Is that a crazy take?
I don't like KD, so I'm gonna say no.
You don't like that? I think you put KD on that team, they win a chip. But, like, the other part of that is, and correct me if this isn't as big of a thing as I think it is, but it also is Detroit, Michigan. I don't know if they have the leverage to, like, sign stars like that, especially when your culture is exclusively defensive-based. It's a little weird. I think they're a star away. So the future, I'm saying it's legit. That's my final verdict. But they need a star. So if that counts as legit, is like the future is there, but they need a star, then yes, it's legit. If needing a star counts it as trash, then it's trash. I don't know how you would rate that.
I'd probably close it out with, yeah, a star definitely would probably get them to win a finals. I don't know if KD would be that guy to do it for them, but more of like a defensive, not even like a fully defensive-based all-star, but like imagine you put like Tatum or like Jaylen Brown on that team. Easy finals, I think. Yeah. 100%. I hate to give like a spineless answer, but I think a large part of their future really determines on how well they can build around Cade, health, and just simply player development of their core guys. Because they took an early draft pick on Ron Holland, so they're big on him. They want him there. They want him to be a part of their future. He just needs to stop sprinting down the court in a straight-up position. Have you guys ever seen him run? Please tell me someone else has noticed that.
Dude, yeah.
He runs like a child.
He kind of runs like a tweaker a little bit, or like a COD zombie.
So fix that.
He's just so energetic. He's got so much energy, which is a good thing. But
he literally runs like this. His body's straight up the whole time. It's like he runs like his shoes are too big for him. He runs like he just grew into his limbs. It's so weird.
That's great.
I hate it. It's very uncomfortable to look at. It's like looking at Jalen Brunson.
Oh my gosh.
But that's all I have.
You're gonna leave us with that?
Yeah.
Oh
is
man,
funny.
yeah. I had something to say, but after you just said that, I don't even know what it was. It completely took my train of thought. So I think we'll just end it there.
Today, I brought a list of the most NBA points since 2016. You guys have to guess them. And it's going to be points accumulated since 2016. So there could have been a player with who had their prime during those years and then just severely fell off. So that plays into account. So you guys just got to think a little bit outside the box for some of these players, maybe. But we'll just start it off. Whoever wants to go first.
All right, hold on. Everyone shut up. We'll get the easy ones out of the way first. LeBron, KD, Curry, Westbrook, Jokic.
Add in James Harden as well,
Put James Harden in.
and
Yeah.
put James Harden in. What about like DeRozan? Is DeRozan crazy?
Paul
Ooh,
George.
DeRozan's not crazy.
Ooh. Okay, throw in DeRozan and Paul George as well.
Okay, then two more.
Okay, so
Quick.
Kawhi.
Hold on. You guys are going too fast.
I wanted to see if I can get it in one go.
So, I mean, you guys got. Who'd you guys say? I can't even remember.
I said LeBron.
Okay.
Yes or no?
Yep.
KD.
He missed the list.
Curry.
Curry is on the list.
Jokic.
Jokic is on the list.
Giannis.
Westbrook.
Westbrook is on the list, and Giannis is on the list.
So how many do we have so far?
We also had James
5.
Harden.
James Harden. James Harden is on the list.
Paul. I said Paul George.
He did not make the list.
Ooh.
Okay.
They said
Now,
DeMar
what
DeRozan.
DeMar DeRozan made the list.
That was,
7.
Oh,
that was a good pick.
So you guys are
cut for your boy.
so you guys are missing 1, 2, 3. 3 players.
What spots are they?
You're missing number 4, number 7, and number 10.
Okay.
Could
So Giannis was number 1.
Embiid.
Did not make the list.
Really?
Kyrie
Anthony.
Irving.
No, Anthony Davis.
Anthony Davis at number 10.
Good. Good pull.
So we got 2 more guys
Assuming
left.
that's no on Kyrie Irving.
I don't know why, but I feel like Bam. No,
Yeah, I don't know why either.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I don't know why either.
Is Kawhi Leonard on that list?
Kawhi is not on the list.
Yeah, he did miss a lot of time.
Yeah, good point.
Think.
Who was on the cover of 2K16? There were 3. It was AD,
Blake
Curry,
Griffin?
and Harden. No, that was 2K13. It was Harden, Harden, Curry, and AD. But we got
Blake-
all them.
Blake Griffin is not on the list.
He's
It
Is
had to
Jimmy
be
on the
more.
list?
They're still playing today. If you guys are wondering
All of
that,
them?
would you? Yeah. Would you say Daniel?
Jimmy Butler.
No.
Klay Thompson?
Nope.
That was kind of a stupid one.
You guys got to think of scores.
Oh,
Why do I want to say Zach LaVine so bad? That doesn't count. That's not a guess, by the way.
Oh, my Bam.
He's number
doesn't
23.
Like, why are we struggling with scores?
Al
It
Horford.
should
No,
be-
that's
Luka Doncic,
He's not on
Damian
the list.
Lillard.
Damian Lillard at
Damian
number
Lillard.
4.
4, wow.
Okay.
We're missing one then, right?
You're missing number 7. Giannis is number 1.
Okay, so we have one more.
Yep.
And all of them were playing still. So this
Yep.
player included. Okay.
Marcus Smart.
Marcus Smart.
Oh, sorry. What about when was Tatum drafted? 2018. Tatum.
Not on the list.
Okay. Yeah, that was kind of a stretch.
Thinking
Oh,
older
is he
guys,
like
but
an
not
old
like
head?
much older.
Yeah.
He's middle aged.
Probably Brad Beal. No, that's stupid.
Not middle aged like that. Like
Devin
Is it-
Booker?
Devin Booker at number 7 to
go.
finish out the list.
I thought like
the
middle-aged
list-
NBA is like a 28-year-old.
Yeah. So Giannis is at number 1. Number 2 is James Harden. Number 3 was DeMar DeRozan. 4, Damian Lillard. 5, LeBron James. 6, Steph Curry. 7, Devin Booker. 8, Jokic. 9, Westbrook. 10, AD.
Dude, DeMar's pretty high on that list. 3? Like, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, that is.
What percentage of that came from like being in Chicago and having half of an MVP season?
I can't give you that. I don't know.
I didn't expect you to have the answer. It was hypothetical.
All right. Now we'll wrap up the pod here. GMLB family, we thank you all for watching. If you want to see our full podcast episodes, we are on YouTube, Apple Podcast, and Spotify for our full-length versions. If you want to see our short-form content as well as our reels and interactive games, we are on Instagram, YouTube Shorts, TikTok, and Snapchat. With that being said, we're going to get out of here, GMLB family. We'll see you in the next one. Deuces.